Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, my first video where I'm going to be talking about the current state of Overwatch from the perspective of all three roles. So I do play all three. First, let me say I do have a love-hate relationship with this game. I love the characters and the designs and the personalities of the characters and the playstyles. On the other hand, I really dislike how frustrating and toxic this game can be and the balancing of this game can be. But I am still hopelessly addicted to it and I need help. Now, first roll up is tanks. Now, let me say I really don't really main anything in this game because in this game it's really not meant to do that. If you really have a main, I would say you're probably playing the game the wrong way. That's just my opinion. For the best experience, you need to play most characters, most roles, if not all of them, as many as you can, because you need to be able to flex in this game. But that being said, tank is the one I enjoy the most and probably have played the most. So I might be biased on this part, but I've seen people say the same thing all over the place, so I don't think it's just me. Um, anyway, as a tank in the game in 2021, it's probably the worst experience you've had in this game thus far. It's incredibly frustrating. The tanks are the weakest they've ever been, especially if you're a main tank. If you are a Orisa player, Winston player, or Reinhardt player, like myself, it sucks because you just feel like you don't survive very long. Even though you have massive health pools, it doesn't feel like it. There's so much damage output in the game that a 550 health character like Reinhardt, even with a 1600 health shield, just gets destroyed so quickly. The healing is so low compared to how much damage output there is, and it just makes for like you basically die so much more frequently as a tank, and they don't feel tanky or like they can really take damage the way I feel like they're supposed to, which makes it kind of frustrating. And then the other side of that is you're it's just really frustrating as a tank because you want your DPS to get kills and you're just watching them, you know, shoot into you don't even know what they're shooting at half the time and they're just not getting any kills. At least it feels that way half the time when you're playing. And as a tank, you rely so heavily on your team because without your supports keeping you alive, you're literally useless. And then without DPS following up on your damage output, or your ults, like a shatter, for example, you're not going to get anything done. One of the most frustrating things in this game to me as a Reinhardt player is I shatter their whole team and nobody follows up on my down my shatter. Next roll up is the DPS, and at the current state of the game, it's the best of the three roles, without a doubt. Aside from that horrendous queue time, which is why DPS is the one I play the absolute least, because I cannot wait 10 to 15 minutes. Even with a priority pass, it takes way too long to get into a damage game. But aside from that, they have the most characters to choose from, the most damage output they've ever had, and on top of that, their characters and role are just the easiest to play in the entire game. Now, from the DPS perspective, the game is the most fun by far. They have the absolute most fun with all, like I said, all the different diverse characters they have to choose from. All of them are useful in most ways. They're fun. They actually, just your job is to just get kills. It's the most fun. That's why it's the most played role, and you gotta wait 10 to 15 minutes, and the DPS players never want to play anything else. And I kind of get it because the game is just a frustrating mess for both other. Now, from the DPS perspective, however, you always feel like you're never being healed because healers really don't focus on healing DPS players because they're just more focused on healing the tanks. And the tanks are too busy fighting in the front line and dying so frequently that you feel like you're not being protected. Now, DPS, you're just kind of stuck in a tough spot because tanks and supports have it worse in the game than you do. So at the end of the day, no one really cares. Get your kills. Stop throwing my matches, please. As the final role of support, I would say the game is the most in between of the two. Like you're the medium. Some games are awesome for you when you have great tanks and DPS helping you usually. Some games are absolutely the worst when you have people who are like the Reinhardt who randomly charges into their side and just dies constantly. The over aggressive DPS that pushes way too deep into their spawn and throws matches. It can be very frustrating, but it also can be the most rewarding. And also, as a support, you have some of the most balanced character choices in the game because all of them are useful in very different ways, and almost all of them are very fun to play. Now, that being said, the problem with them is that there are huge fall offs in the amount of healing per character. So most of the time as a support, your experience is getting yelled at by your team because you're not healing them enough, because you're playing a character that they think does not heal enough, aka a Zenyatta, a Brigitte, a Lucio. If you're not playing Moira, Baptiste, or Mercy, or any of those really high healing characters, you're going to be constantly getting yelled at to switch off. And even when you do switch off, you're still going to be getting yelled at because nobody ever feels like they're being healed. Because as I mentioned before, there is not enough healing in the game, even with the highest healing amount characters in the game. And then the tanks taking so much damage and dying so fast, and the fact that the DPS outputs so much damage, the entire game as a support is getting yelled at by your team, being told you suck and you're not healing anything. Support is the most fun I have right now in the game, but also the most frustration I have in the game, because support is the unsung heroes of the game. The amount of work that they do, but get zero credit for it. Nobody acknowledges it. Nobody even knows they're being healed. And or the amount of times that people are being healed and die in a team fight while being healed, and they just spam "I need healing" in the chat constantly, telling you you're not healing. It's the most frustrating thing to experience in the game. And then on top of that, while the team is running around and fighting, like Reinhardt or Winston or Junkrat or McCree, and they flank and they run and push their team and stuff like that, and they die and then they spam "I need healing," and they really don't understand that as a support you have to stay behind your team and your tanks. You can't push up into their side of the map when you're knee deep in 5 characters as Reaper and expect them to save you. You're going to die. Accept it. Now, one thing we can all agree on is we all love Mercy players. Mercy players are, that's why she's the angel, literally. She is literally an angel. As Mercy players, you are the angels of the game. She is the one support in the game. I play every support. I cannot play that character because I hate not being able to defend myself, because I can't rely on my team to keep me alive. So Mercy players, the most selfless players in the games, they do not focus on themselves at all. Their entire game plan is keeping you alive and then rezzing you. They do not fight, shoot, get kills, nothing. They are completely focused on teamwork. Mercy mains are the best thing in the game. And then here are some honorable mentions at the end of the video that I feel like everybody can agree with that we all hate. 1. Quitters. 2. Ragers. 3. People who put on their mic just to blame people, call them blamers. 4. One tricks of any kind. I swear to God, is one of the things that I despise the most. It ruins most of my games. It is so frustrating. And last but not certainly least, Widow mains. Does anyone like Widow mains? Like, seriously, does anyone enjoy having a Widow on their team? You suck. Switch off the character. You're not going to kill anything. Oh my God. I hate watching you stand in the background while the other team is capturing the point and we need your fucking help, and you're standing in the background missing shots constantly and refusing to switch off the character. Oh my God. Stop. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching my video. It's all jokes. I enjoy the game. Everybody can play and have fun. It's just, again, a difference in opinion.